Hey, I'm Eric Gagne. You're listening to the Blue Review. Hi, I'm Yasser Pui, and you're watching the Blue Review.
Hey everybody, welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Blue Review. Can I just say how cool Eric Gagne looks, like with the whole beard and the dark sunglasses? I mean, just like a cool side character in an action movie or something.
It's game over, man. I love that guy.
Dude.
It's amazing. Have I ever told you my Eric Gagne story?
No, I don't believe so.
Not that I know him, but Eric Gagne, I mean, this isn't great for him, but either way, I used to have an Eric Gagne jersey. He is the last person I ever got that had their name on the back of the jersey that wasn't either just a number or like not my name, just no names on back of jerseys, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Eric Gagne was the last one that I had, and when I got it, he then got busted a little bit. So I was like, oh, I can't wear it anymore. But we did still wear it to the ballpark because my buddy had like one of those big suits that had like the arms bulging out of it.
Yes.
And so we just put the Gagne jersey on and walked around with like the big suit with the muscle suit. So I'm not sure it's great for Eric Gagne. It's very funny for me.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that one coming. Absolutely.
I thought about it after I started to say the story. I'm like, maybe that's not great. I appreciate you, Eric. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you giving us a shout out here on the Blue Review, which, by the way, can let you know the Blue Review is powered by LAX. We are taking off. Learn more about all the incredible changes happening at LAX by going to lawa.org/ESPN. A lot to talk about. On this Tuesday morning, the Dodgers get a split in Colorado with a 12-2 win in the finale on Monday night. So there's a lot of stuff to get to in that one. But I want to start with what happened before the game, the news that we got about Edwin Diaz, that after spending a week or so worried about his knee, turns out, Greg, it's the elbow that was the problem. Elbow. That's the answer we were looking for.
Are you surprised that something else is wrong when all they would talk about is the knee? No. Absolutely not.
No, I guess not. But the diagnosis, loose bodies in the right elbow. It's going to require surgery, which could put him out for around 3 months. Credit to you for being, Dr. Google, because you looked it up and that was what you put in the text chat, that it could be about 3 months. And lo and behold, that's what it is. So I guess the first question is, who picks up the ninth inning until Edwin Diaz is back?
So I think they say that they're going to go by committee. I personally would be on Tanner Scott right now. I mean, that's what you brought him for before. I think they want to see how everybody kind of does, but everybody has different styles. Tanner Scott's more of a power pitcher. Blake Trinan is more of a movement pitcher, and Alex Vesia is more of just kind of like get you out with tricks. He does not have a lot of velocity. It's not power. So there's a lot of different guys that they can go with in there. I think Scott's probably my best option. Scott and Trinan have both done it before, but Scott's a little bit younger and understands the role a little bit more and was supposed to be it last year. So I'd probably go there, but I did a lot of research on this beforehand. And I called Dr. Clapper, and Dr. Clapper gave me a Clapper vision about what loose bodies are in your elbow. Mm-hmm. And so I'm gonna try and do it justice, Marcas. I don't think I can.
Okay.
The best. Basically, think of it like an oyster. So when the way to get the way to get to make an oyster make pearls is you kind of just slowly open it up and you put some sand in there, and the sand moves around and it turns scrapes around and creates the oysters. But if the oysters comes off, that's a loose body, and it's all the loose bodies that are all in there. I don't think I did a good enough job of it, and Dr. Clapper's way much better. But that's essentially what's happening. There's fluid. There's kind of just like things happening in there that knocked a little bit off of his elbow. He said it was a very simple procedure. You just go in there, clear it out. So one little puncture, everything comes out, and you just kind of can go the next day. But this seems like there's a lot more to it, because if it's a little bit worse than what he was thinking it was, it could take up to 3 months. So that's my Dr. Clapper impersonation.
All right. There's a little more clarity. I mean, I just sort of like in my head, I envision, I mean, this seems a little more dramatic, but in my head, I envision like tiny little bone chips or fragments or something just kind of floating around in his elbow, which sounds, both gross and painful all at the same time. But whatever it is, he's scheduled to have surgery tomorrow. And the comment from Dave Roberts was they expect for him to return in the second half of the season. So we're probably looking post All-Star break for Edwin Diaz to come back.
Yeah, the oysters.
There it is. All right.
Yeah, loose bodies. But I mean, so do you think that's it? Do you think that's what's happening? Do you think that it is that they're going to? Are they just being cautious with them, and they think okay, we've seen what you can do. We can see what the trumpets are. We'll just save you to the end of the season.
No, I mean, I think there's really something there. Again, I don't know what the whole rigmarole was about the knee, if it turns out that it was an elbow issue. I don't know if it just popped up on the radar and even caught the Dodgers by surprise, but it was sort of like we were looking at the wrong joints this whole time. So I think there's something there, and I think that may have something to do with the lack of velocity we've seen from Diaz. And so if you're the Dodgers, better to catch this now, right? Better to have that news come out on April 20th than to have it come out on July 20th when, then it becomes a question of, is he even available for the rest of the regular season and the playoffs? So not ideal, obviously. You spent a lot of money to bring in a top-level closer, and for the second year in a row, for reasons, your closer that you brought in is not able to do the job. But again, if any team can withstand this sort of thing, Greg, it's the Dodgers right now.
Yeah, they have. That's why they have a whole bunch of things. But that's Dr. Clapper did say that it can take you from 98 to 94 because of the pain that is in the elbow. So that's basically where that came from. But yeah, if anybody can withstand it, it is the Dodgers. We talked about it just a second ago. It's Trinan, Scott, Vezia, and maybe Kyle Hurt is somebody that they really like. Maybe that's somebody that can go there. They have enough options to be able to play, to be able to kind of work it out and try and play matchups as best as possible and go. I do think Scott's going to have a higher one. Who do you think is going to be that guy?
My thought was Vesia, just because they've been giving him those opportunities, like during the week and a half that we weren't seeing Edwin Diaz out there. It was Vesia. Now maybe some of it was like, one of them was like his birthday, and then one was the healthcare workers night. So I don't know, maybe Dave was just trying to send some messages or give Vesia some, positive opportunities, some positive feelings. Maybe that's what it was, but he's unconventional, to say the least, as a closer, because as you mentioned, he's not going to stand there and blow you away. He's not running it up there at 98, 99 miles an hour. No. He is going to be a little more crafty about the whole thing. So, maybe it is Scott they go back to, since he was the guy expected to be the guy last year. I do think there's a combination of all three of those guys that get some opportunities. Saw a question from Glacier, and I had, didn't Hunter Green get that surgery in March? So Hunter Green had surgery to remove bone spurs, which again, I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV. Sounds different than loose bodies, but maybe that's semantics. But Hunter Green, out for a while as well. So hopefully this isn't that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how long. It's probably in the long run better. Mm-hmm. It's if he's hurt, put him on the IL. That was we were talking about on Sedano and Cap yesterday, and I was like, oh no, he's gonna be fine. It's no big deal. But if he's not fine, put him on the IL, and that's not a big deal. And so I truly believe that. I truly believe that it is not a big deal. I understand the idea of that you just paid a big time closer again 2 years in a row that both didn't really work out. But that's kind of why you don't sign relievers. That's why you don't sign closers to big money. It's like, I understand why the Dodgers did it, because they want to have basically the perfect team known to man, but also this is the reason, this is what happens with closers. So that's kind of the risk that you're going to take by doing that.
Yeah. So here we are, near the end of April, and the Dodgers sort of trying to cobble together a closer by committee situation, which, I mean, it's what worked 2 years ago. When the bullpen was really strong, when the starting pitching kind of stumbled most of the season and the bullpen kind of bailed them out. It was a closer by committee situation. So we've seen that this team can do that. So we'll see if they can do that again. The good news is they didn't need a closer last night.
No.
12-3 was the final score. The Dodgers beat up on the Rockies, sort of bookend thumpings, right? They beat up on them pretty good on Friday night. Then they lose Saturday and Sunday, come back and lay down a beatdown on Monday. Let's start with Justin Wrobleski, because I was still finishing up with DeMarco and Travis yesterday afternoon and watching the first inning or so from the studio, and it did not start well for Justin Wrobleski. He gave up back-to-back doubles, and before you knew it, the Dodgers were down 1-0. But after that, he locked in and missed barrels, pitched to mostly soft contact, and really turned it around after kind of a shaky start.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of who he is, though. He pitches to contacts, and sometimes he's going to get hit. They were really on the slider, which I thought was a little bit interesting. So that's one of his biggest pitches. He really only has two pitches, the fastball and the slider. But he also, apparently I saw something that he was using a splitter. He's been working with Yoshinobu Yamamoto to learn how to throw the splitter, and he mixed it in this game. I didn't notice it, but I'm going to pay attention to it on his next outing to see if he's throwing that pitch, because that's obviously a massive out pitch for so many guys, that if he can add that to his arsenal, it's super dangerous. But Justin Wrobleski, I thought he was fantastic. He was great against the Mets, but come on, let's be serious. It's the Mets. That's insane what's happening over there. But this one, he did just that. He does not going to strike out a bunch of guys. He's going to get hit. And so basically you have to think to yourself, he's going to get through games like this. I think more often than not, you're going to get games like this, get the 8 innings, 7 innings, 6 innings. He's going to be able to go long distances because he attacks the zone, and guys are going to have to swing at those pitches. So if he gets that soft contact, or he gets even the hard contact that's at guys, you're okay with that. But there's going to be a couple games throughout where he's going to give up 6, he's going to give up 8, because he's going. If you're pitching to contact and you're young, 25 years old, you're going to get hit every once in a while. And that's just kind of the fire that you're playing with because of the way that you pitch. But I think he's been amazing. I thought this was a really good test to do it at Coors Field as well, because you know how it is at Coors Field. But he did everything that you could have asked for yesterday. And it really gives me confidence that in his next start, he's going to be just as good.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's figured something out. And I know they like to put the graphic up during the broadcast about his ERA as a starter last year versus what it is so far this year. Last year was not great. I believe it was over 7, I think it was. Or it was around 6, I think. Wow. Wasn't great as a starter last year. This year, he's been really, really good. In fact, I'm looking at his last 3 starts at Toronto versus the Mets, at the Rockies. A combined 20 innings pitched. He's given up just 2 earned runs on 12 hits. So right now, he's doing what he needs to do. I thought as you mentioned, he attacked the zone well. I don't know if the splitter, how effective it was. I don't know if the thin air up there in Denver sort of took some bite out of it a little bit. We'll see. But it's nice to sort of have a guy in the back part of that rotation that you feel like is coming together right now. And, I agree with you. There are going to be starts that don't look quite as good. Or, I mean, even look, he gave up the 8 hits last night against a different lineup. That probably hurts you a lot more than what it did against the Rockies yesterday. But hey, I will take it because it was an outstanding performance for Wrobleski. So let's go, man. He's won his last 3 starts. Good.
And how do you feel about him just in general? That now, here, if you're looking at the rotation, and the top 3 guys, you're fine with that. The Glasnow, Shohei, and Yamamoto's. But now on the back end, it's between Wrobleski, Sheehan, and Sasaki. I mean, I think to me, this feels like he's kind of solidified himself in that 4 spot, opposed to, and maybe 4 or 5, depending on Sheehan. But
yeah,
it's pretty clear that Sasaki's 6. Sheehan and Wrobleski are fighting for the 4, and it looks like Wrobleski 4, Sheehan 5, Sasaki 6.
Yeah, I mean, just because I think we've seen 3 consistently better starts from Wrobleski than we have out of Sheehan. It's been a little up and down for Sheehan. I mean, he's giving up runs each time. He's not giving the Dodgers quite as much length. So, I think Sheehan's still figuring it out. So I think as of this moment, I think Wrobleski for me is the 4. Sheehan's the 5, and then Roki comes in at number 6. Again, I think we talked about this. I think we talked about it with Anthony Witrado, probably with Jeff Spiegel. When the playoffs start, the whole if the playoffs started today, none of those back 3 are in the rotation. You're talking about Sheehan and Wrobleski being guys that can give you length out of the bullpen if you need it, but you're going with a Yama, Glasnow, Shohei, and that's not even to mention Blake Snell,
right,
who's going to be back hopefully in about a month. But it's just about having those 3 guys get you through the regular season, hopefully give you some quality starts, quality innings, and then hey, we're gonna adjust your role once October gets here.
And I mean, he started off in the bullpen, Wrobleski, so that's going to be an easy transition. Sheehan did this last year. Sasaki obviously was the closer last year, so it's nice to know that all 3 of those guys can go in there and do that kind of thing. So
for sure, offensively, Dalton Crushing continues.
I love that nickname, by the way. Dalton Crushing is a killer nickname. It's an easy one. You just put a C in front of it. Yes. But it just works so well. Dude's got 7 home runs in like 27 at bats.
Insane. Hit 2 more last night. That's coming off a really good week against the Mets previously, where he had a grand slam in the game that you and I were at. Look, last year he struggled at the plate, and there were questions about what the future was going to be for Dalton Rushing. Now it seems, Greg, the question is, how do they keep him out of the lineup? Like, there's no real spot for him to play long term, but when he's swinging a bat like that, you got to try to get him in every day.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to. They'll have to find spots, and so this kind of gives you an opportunity to find days to get Will Smith off his legs too. Because being a catcher for the entire season, it happens with Will Smith all the time. It happens with all catchers. That if you by the end of the season, you're kind of a different guy. Your knees are messed up. It's like you're worn out. It's a tough position to play for an entire season. Now, luckily, last year Will Smith was still really good in the postseason, hitting home runs and winning games in the World Series for them. But it just, the more rest you can give him, the better. And I think with the way that Dalton Rushing is playing, especially early in the season, when you do have a lead in the division, are winning a lot of games, you can give him that kind of time off early on. And that's a great spot for Dalton Rushing. We've also seen this in baseball time and time again, where guy goes hot, is incredibly hot in April, hits 7 to 10 home runs in the month of April, and then they just kind of then he bye-bye Agbayani.
Oh, man.
We like to talk about every once in a while in terms of that. And, I don't think he's that. I hope he's not that. But the fact is, he's hitting at a high clip early on. Let's just let it play out a little bit throughout the rest of the season. But getting him into the lineup more often, at least twice a week, very important.
I hadn't heard the name Benny Agbayani in years, and I've heard it twice in a week. So
I don't know. I think it was Travis that brought it up at the Dodgers.
He did.
No, I get it there. Yeah,
it is. The chat is saying that Dalton Crushing is a way better nickname than Andy Biblioteca. I mean,
why?
I'm not really going to argue that per se, but
cringe. Get out of here with cringe.
But Andy Biblioteca, man, we gotta make this happen.
Can we put respect on Andrew Biblioteca?
Oh, sorry, Andrew Biblioteca.
Andrew Biblioteca or Andrew Library, your choice.
All right.
They both work. Give him his whole name.
Okay, Andrew Biblioteca. No, I'm fine with that. Yeah, we're going to try to make fetch happen with that. We'll see if it actually catches on.
I mean, that was an Anthony Witrado thing, and I just really liked it, and you really liked it, so we're gonna keep going with it. But
yeah,
like it's have some whimsy, have some fun in your life, have some joy. Don't be a hater of joy.
That's it. But Dalton Rushing hitting the ball well. Max Muncy on fire as well. Another 2-homer game. Look, I know that you are not sad to see the Dodgers leaving Colorado. Max Muncy might be a wee bit sad because he crushed this weekend.
Was he like 10 of 17, something along those lines?
Something crazy.
He was insane in Colorado. And yes, what he did yesterday was amazing. And we can talk about it. It's on here. He was 4 for 4, 2 home runs, and he also walked. But one of the hits is what I'm really most excited about from him, just for his sake in general. It's not going to be something that happens often. He legged out an infield.
Yes.
Muncy McWheels out there. It was amazing to see how that whole played. And you mentioned it earlier before we came on. It was to the right side.
Mm-hmm.
So he legged out an infield single to the right side where the camera had it on the second baseman. And I was like, that's an easy out at first. And then the next thing you know, they pan to first base and he's already past the bag. It wasn't like a bang bang play. He was on the bag and past the bag by the time the ball got there. It was incredible. Good for you, Muncy.
Yeah, man. He channeled like Haesung Kim or something, man. He just motoring down the line as part of a huge day for Muncy. You mentioned the 4 for 4, a couple of home runs for that series. 10 for 17, 4 homers, 5 RBIs, 6 runs scored. Also, a walk in that one too. Like, it just was a great week for Max Muncy there in Colorado, and hopefully it continues. Now the trick, Greg, is to sort of shake off Colorado because you're going to one of the least hitter-friendly parks in all of baseball because you got to go to San Francisco this week. So now they just got to, get back to their normal mechanics, their normal swing, and hopefully Colorado doesn't ruin them for a game or two.
So that's part of the reason why I hate Coors Field so much, because of just that. Because you go there, either you pitch really well or you get smacked around, and then you leave and you're like, well, okay, I'm a completely different pitcher. It's the same thing with the hitters. They go there and they just hit like crazy, and they think, oh, okay, I found my swing, but then they realize, oh, the air is so much thinner up there and the ball flies so much better and there's not as much movement on guys' pitches. This is not the same play. So I hate it so much because of that. And, so fired into the sun, blah, blah, blah. The whole reason why. Because and then when you leave, this is what happens. You leave a place where you're great and you go to a place that's not a hitter's ballpark, and your offense just sputters a little bit. And so it can very much happen. That graphic you just had, by the way, Carlo, 1,290 to 1,290 Giants and the Dodgers. How crazy is that?
That is wild. In all the years, the decades that these two teams have been playing one another, the fact that the regular season series all time is tied. Also, there are 19 ties in there, which that's why I'd have to go back in history. When's the last time there was a tie in Major League Baseball? I mean, it had to be in the 1800s, right?
It's gone for 1896, maybe somewhere.
Maybe. Just wild.
By the way, one last thing on Muncy for me. I saw a graphic yesterday, and I thought it was pretty cool. The fact is, last year he had 4 3-hit games.
Mm-hmm.
This year he has 4 3-hit games. We're in April. So if this turns out to be the Max Muncy of old, where he's hitting 35 home runs, that's a massive boost for this team, because we talked about it a ton last year, where he lengthens the lineup. And when he's down there in the 6 and 7 spot, it changes your entire lineup, and he really fixes that entire lineup. So the more he does this, the better the Dodgers will be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So tonight from Oracle Park, it'll be Yoshinobu Yamamoto getting the ball, going against Landon Roop, who's actually off to a really good start this season, has been pitching really, really well. The Giants had a little bit of a hot streak. They had won 3 in a row before losing their most recent game. So, they took 2 out of 3 in Washington. It was after losing 2 out of 3 in Cincinnati. So we will see what we will see tonight. Of course, we'll be back with you tomorrow to talk about it, break it all down. But stick around, because that'll do it for us. The Sodato and Cap Morning Extravaganza is coming up next. Appreciate everybody in the chat. And Carlos, the Dodgers have one more World Series championship than the Giants, but you probably knew that already. So thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to Carlo for production assistance. Thanks to LAX as well. For Greg, I'm Marcus. Been the Blue Review presented by LAX. See you tomorrow, 6:30 to 6:55 here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel.
Yeah.